Renewable energies present the opportunity to expedite the process of transitioning away from our dependence on fossil fuels and other environmentally damaging and unsustainable energy sources. The combination of improved technology and financial incentives are lowering the cost for homeowners to utilize solar panels. While the portion of power coming from renewable sources continues to grow, rooftop residential solar has so far played a minimal role in the expansion of green energy in Minnesota. Currently, an assortment of actors and stakeholders are engaged in developing plans and policies that will continue to lower the initial and ongoing costs of harnessing renewable energy statewide.
So in 2007, Minnesota passed a renewable energy standard. They require an amount of renewable electricity rooftop stuff. And a lot of that has to do with just the technology and the price that technology is at now. And it's continuing to come down in price and go up in efficiency. So that's all really good.
Benefits from residential solar include various social, environmental, and economic improvements not limited to employment growth, lowering dependence on fossil fuels and other non-renewables, lower energy costs, more sustainable use of natural resources, all of which lead to healthier citizens and healthier communities.
So there's a federal tax credit for solar power. There's the state Made in Minnesota incentive, which helps folks that are putting residential solar as well.
The Made in Minnesota Solar Incentive Program is undoubtedly one of the greatest tools within the package of benefits offered to Minnesotans considering the transition to solar energy. The incentive program offers 10-year grants to assist businesses and residents with paying off their solar energy investments. Winners are chosen at random. The rebate covers a quarter of the cost of the system, maxing out at $2,500.
From federal policy, that there has to be net metering, so that utilities have to purchase the power that's coming off of a small PV, on rooftop PV. They have to buy it at some reasonable rate.
Net metering is an ongoing, long-term benefit of rooftop solar. Energy companies must compensate customers for energy generated in excess of what they use. Xcel Energy, for example, guarantees a rate of 8 cents per kilowatt hour for 10 years. The City of Minneapolis provides a solar suitability map highlighting the strength and suitability of specific locations within the city for generating solar. This allows property owners to use this tool along with a site assessment test to determine the suitability of their property.
And we would come in and do a blower door test and do visual inspections on insulation and a couple of other things. And based on that, we would give you sort of what's called an energy fitness plan, and that's sort of a roadmap for how you make those improvements.
Local examples include a 6 kilowatt installation made possible by the Made in Minnesota Solar Program. This installation is slated to break even after just 5 years while providing a 14.75% return on investment over the lifespan of the system.
Very competitive interest rate loans to make those improvements.
Another example involves a ground mount solar array system on a larger agricultural property which will cover 100% of the family's electricity needs and is equivalent to planting over 5,500 trees. Germany, a nation seemingly less optimal than Minnesota for solar energy, has a goal of achieving 100% of its energy from renewables within 50 years, and a large portion of that will be from solar. Today, nearly 8% of Germany's power comes from solar, and 90% of their solar power is generated from residential rooftop panels. They have accomplished this rapid growth through mandates and generous incentives that pay 2 to 4 times more than Minnesota. Research in Wisconsin shows financial incentives were not a primary motivation for adopting solar generation. Buyback provisions were a motivator, and an interest in technology and DIY home improvements unified all participants. Statistical studies of residential solar adoption show that while political and environmental interests are a driving force, the main predictor for rooftop solar adoption is the proximity to other homes with solar.
Back to 2013 for a lot of things.
That was the solar year.
There are clouds on the horizon. International studies show that tax credits and incentives work, but that these programs are utilized by higher income households while the taxes to finance them fall heavier to those with lower incomes, furthering a green divide. In addition, federal tax deductions will decrease to 10% if no action is taken, and continuing improvement in technology coupled with falling prices may incentivize consumers to postpone installations. But with ongoing commitment and grassroots advocacy, rooftop solar in Minnesota can continue to grow, and the future is bright indeed.
Kind of conceived of the program that we saw a path for getting towards renewables with additional efficiency and then possibly renewables down the line. So right now it's just one certification. In the future it could be tier 1, 2, 3.